those shipyards have been in a down spot for years now. They're coming back to life. They're actually back to shipbuilding, back to ship repair. But I was really struck by what I saw in some of the rural areas of my district that you've seen with me. And let me just tell you about two of them. There's a little town in my district called Bruton. They have a new company there called V.A.A. that's a high-tech IT business. Now, Bruton is a very rural part of my district. It's one of those places that I've done town halls before, and people would show up at the town hall and say, our little town is dying. And then when I went there this time, V.A.A. is actually up and going. They've got 70 employees, high-tech IT jobs in Bruton, Alabama. Another town I went to, Monroeville, a great town. You all know Monroeville, by the way. You don't know that you know it. That's where Harper Lee's from. That's where To Kill a Mockingbird was based. So I did my town hall in the old courthouse there. But before I went to the courthouse, I got to go to Sterling Package. Sterling Package was originally a Canadian company. They've moved from Canada to Monroeville, Alabama. They make the cartons that you put craft beer in, which is a growing market, as we all know. They also make the cartons you put specialty vegetable products in. Doing great stuff. Now you have communities like Bruton and Monroeville, who I can tell you, even last year, were still struggling. And now they have this sense of optimism and economic growth and a rising quality of life that they just didn't have. So from the metro area in my district, Mobile, to these rural areas, people not only are better off, they feel that they're better off. They express that they are better off. So when I go to my town hall meetings, we talk about what can we do to keep it rolling. And the one message I continue to hear from the people in my district is, keep doing what you've been doing, do more of it, because it's making the lives of everybody in this community better. Our towns are not dying, they're thriving, and we need to continue to thrive. Thank you.
Roll Tide.
Thank you.
Yeah, roll Tide.
You know,
Go Tigers.
I'll see him in the tournament.
Yeah, for everybody who underrated LSU, we're accepting apologies now. But I do want to first say that my thoughts and prayers go out to our friends along the Gulf Coast who experienced damage from Tropical Storm Gordon, and for all those first responders, the people that are helping their neighbors get back on their feet. We'll continue to support them like they've always supported us. I had the same opportunity to get around my district and in other parts of the country over this last few weeks, and it's exciting to see people's attitudes, to see just how they're experiencing personal benefits from the tax cuts that we passed. And, you start with just having more money in people's pockets. The fact that we lowered every single rate, and so now you're seeing people experiencing more money in their paychecks. They're also seeing the benefits because so many companies have given benefits to their workers. We've been tracking at majoritywhip.gov all of the major national companies, and we're actually over 700 national companies that have given pay raises or benefits to their employees. But you see the same thing from small businesses. And just as Bradley and Kathy talked about businesses in their district, I've been happy to share the success of a number of businesses, but the one I have the most fun talking about is Gnarly Barley, a small brewery in Hammond, Louisiana. And it was a 6-person company. It's just a family-run business. And they weren't even able to provide health care benefits to their employees before we passed the tax cuts bill. But now that we have, they're actually able to provide health care benefits and set up a 401k program for their employees because of what we did. And we're going to build on that success. We're not resting on our laurels. We're seeing this great economic growth. And so we're now starting to put together Tax Cuts 2.0. On Thursday, I'll be hosting a member briefing with Chairman Brady to start putting together that next bill so that we can keep this success going. Because of Senate rules, some of the tax cuts had to be temporary. We wanted to make them all permanent. And in fact, in our bill, we will make those tax cuts permanent. And I encourage all Democrats who voted no on this bill. If you looked at what the rhetoric was when we were moving our tax cut bill through the House, there were all of these statements. You heard Pelosi and all the liberals decrying how it's not going to benefit the middle class. And in fact, now we're seeing the biggest beneficiaries of this bill are the middle class of this country, the hardworking people who had been left behind for so many years that are finally being able to get back in the workforce and experience their piece of the American dream. So I would challenge all those Democrats who voted no because of a misunderstanding. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But all the lies that were told about the bill, too. Now that they're seeing that those hardworking families across the country are benefiting, I challenge them to switch their vote and now vote yes to make those tax cuts permanent, to help those working families that are benefiting from this success. We've got a lot more success that we're going to build on. We're not resting on our laurels. We're seeing great economic benefits from what we've done as House Republicans with this majority. Let's keep building and growing this economy and letting Americans be part of the American dream. And finally, as Kathy mentioned, we're going to have the CEO of Twitter come before our Committee on Energy and Commerce today. I know I have some tough questions, just as when Mark Zuckerberg came before our committee, when we saw some of the bias that was coming against conservatives in different parts of social media, we see that continuing on. We want to make sure that these tough questions are going to be answered. And let's at least have a level playing field with all these different platforms of social media.
Good morning. Welcome back. It's good to see you all here. Even see Mr. Bresnahan join us, so we know it's special today. I actually missed him, just so you all know. It has been a bit busy summer in our districts and across the country into other districts as well. On Monday, we celebrated Labor Day, an opportunity to honor the American worker. But today, the American worker has so much more opportunity than they did just a short time ago. When we look at unemployment, historic low at 3.9, I like to continue to remind you, because I haven't seen you write about it enough, that in the last 49 years in America, unemployment has only been below 4% 8 months. That's 8 months in 49 years. And 3 of those 8 months we experienced this year. When you really look to the contrast on what has happened in Congress, it's results versus resistance. Not one Democrat voted for that economic bill. They believed it would be Armageddon. They believed when people kept more of what they earned that was crumbs. I'll give you an example of a contrast with results versus resistance. Just last night, Michael McCall had a bill up on suspension. It dealt with ICE using biometrics to keep terrorists out of America. 111 Democrats voted no. Nancy Pelosi and Steny Hoyer. More than 160 of them voted present when all we did was talk about what ICE was able to accomplish, stopping human trafficking, the fentanyl from coming across, and the MS-13 gang members they have removed from our community. There is a contrast between results versus resistance. We will continue to do our work. We're going to have this fall, we have appropriations in conference to a number of those bills to get done. I want to thank the Senate for the work that they had done on appropriations. This is different than in the past, that we can have these bills to become law. We have more work to get done, making this country safer, making the economy, you're more secure in your job, you're more secure in your future. And the strongest part about this economy is that it reaches all aspects. If you just have a high school degree, it's one of the strongest economies you have witnessed. If you're African American or Hispanic, one of the best you've ever seen in your lifetime. And just last August, the American factory activity expanded at the strongest pace than more than 14 years. You know what that means? That Made in America is coming back. These are the results we want to keep growing. Others want to see resistance. Today we'll swear in a new member on the Republican side, Troy Balderson. It was a tight race, but at the end of the day, the results outweighed resistance. The Democratic caucus has a difference that happened last night for them. The resistance movement won one more time, defeating a member that's been here more than 2 decades. So when we look for November, it'll be a large contrast and there'll be examples to show. From a strong economy, from a stronger V.A., to a military that's being built again, to a border being more secure, to the stopping of human trafficking online, to an ability of a person who is terminally ill to have a right to try a drug that hasn't been approved yet. Those are the results that this Congress has been able to achieve, even though we had resistance on the other side.
That's you. Thanks. Just getting some cues from Mo.
So
Just for the record, just let's remember that Wisconsin Badgers are the highest-ranked Big Ten team in the country right now. Yeah, there we go. You get the first question, man. All right. Yeah, you are you? Oh, very cool. All right, you get the second question then. All right. Any other Packer Badger fans here? Yeah. All right. Yeah, I know. That's right. Okay. You did, didn't you? Did you go to the journalism school there? No. Oh, okay.
What are you doing here then?
Yeah, I know. My sister's a journalism major from Madison. She's a chef now, so just go figure. All right, yeah. All right, wait. I got something to say here. Hang on. Look, we've got it. Yeah, we're way off the rails here. Thank you, Mo. Look, let me just say this. We've got a really good opportunity over the next several weeks to get some really big things done. There are some things that we are going to get done for the American people. And we have a good bill on the floor today for starters. It will provide better financial literacy counseling to students receiving financial aid. It's an important change to support students through this very complicated system. And it's another thing we are doing to reduce roadblocks to opportunities. We're making progress on a number of critical areas. Opioids, appropriations, the Farm Bill. We see this Farm Bill as a chance to make common sense reforms to shift our federal benefit systems to one that incentivizes work. There could not be a better time to be doing this with all the momentum that is driving our economy. Worker satisfaction is at its highest level in 12 years. Consumer confidence is at its highest level in 18 years. Just yesterday, an index showed manufacturing activity is at its highest level in 14 years. This is an economy brimming with confidence. This is an economy brimming with opportunities. The American people really are better off now, and we have a chance to make things even better. And if you want to learn more about this, and I'm sure you're covering this constantly, go to better.gop, and you will say and see that we have made good on our promises. We have made good on our policies. We have put these policies into law, and they're making a positive difference in people's lives in this country. That's why we're here, and we're very gratified, and we have more work to do. Questions? Baraboo. Yeah.
Over the recess, Congressman Collins was indicted for insider trading, and Congressman Duncan Hunter was also indicted for campaign finance violations. Democrats are now making this a big issue for the midterms, saying that the GOP is the party of corruption, and also pointing to Paul Manafort, his conviction, and also Michael Cohen's guilty plea. What are you going to do to combat that and keep the party on message through these final 60 days or so?
Well, we've taken the appropriate action. We've removed these members from their committees, which is what we do in these kinds of situations. It's happened for the other side of the aisle as well. These are isolated incidents, and our members are working hard at doing their jobs, which is, as I just said, to improve people's lives. We have an agenda we're proud of, and we have more work to do that we're going to complete, and that's going to be the story that's going to dominate. Badger. All right.
The president, though, tweeted that these two members should not have been indicted because they are Republicans. Are you comfortable with the president saying that?
Justice is blind. Justice should be blind. It should have no respect with respect to political party. Look, I mean, that's the emblem of the Justice Department, blind justice. So I think it's very important that we respect the fact that justice should be blind. It should have no impact on political party. And I think the process is working its way as it should. Casey.
Mr. Speaker, you all are heading to the White House. Are you going to try to convince the president not to shut down the government, even for a month?
No, I don't think I have to do that. We talk all the time. This is a typical meeting that you have when you come back from a recess to go through the fall agenda. There's really nothing exceptional about that. And we've had plenty of conversations about how we want to close out our agenda. And there are a lot of things we have yet to do on a whole host of issues, and that's what we're going to be discussing.
Are you confident he won't shut down the government?
Yeah, that's not in anyone's interest, and he knows that.
Well, could you share some insight, because he said he's willing to shut down the government. It's not that big of a deal.
I think the results will prove itself.
Well, you know, though, because the government shut down twice this Congress.
Yeah, it was Chuck Schumer shut down the government. Yeah, go ahead. That was Schumer.
One of the promises of tax cuts was that real wages would go up, and so far, at least, that hasn't happened. How do you convince Americans that it's time for tax cuts around?
I think take a look at take-home pay. When you fill your taxes out this year, look at the fact that your standard deduction is doubling. Look at the fact that your rates are going down. Look at the fact that your child tax credit's doubling. Oh, and by the way, since February and March, you've seen withholding tables adjusted, so people are seeing higher take-home pay. And again, most utility companies in the country have actually lowered the utility bills of hardworking Americans who pay less for electricity than they did before as a result of the tax cut. So the results are there. Alan Fram.
Do you find it credible or alarming that according to the Woodward book, some people who work with the president closely don't have much respect for his intellect? And do you favor changing libel laws?
Do I favor change? No, I don't. No, is that something that's been suggested?
Yeah.
Okay. I was busy working this morning. I haven't been looking at my phone. I've known Bob a long time. I have not spoken to him for a few years, for the record. I don't know when this book is. I haven't seen this book. Is it even out yet?
No.
Yeah. So I got nothing to say. I'd refer you to the White House.
Last question.
Susan.
Are you still planning to vote on the tax cut 2.0
Yes.
in September, or is it going to be put
Yeah.
on the election?
Yeah. Yes, we are.
In September,
Yes.
floor vote.
Correct.
On the floor.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Very good.
They want to see the Democrats vote yes on tax cuts.
Well, you don't come very often. Anytime, okay? Even when I come.